Hey guys, BsPA bringing you another Mythic Plus commentary video. Today we're taking a look at this plus 23 Dark Heart Thicket, and I'm running my Frost DK with a two-hander Obliteration build. You can see I got my gear up here and I got my talents over there. It's pretty bog standard when it comes to talents, and when it comes to gear, I'm doing like my normal passive trinkets. At this point now, I have the Accelerating Sandglass and the Porcelain Crab, which work very well for me. But there's like loads of combinations you can run, which are all very similar to each other. I haven't actually picked up any like specific embellishment here. I'm still running the what's it called? The Fire Flame, Shadow Flame patch, which obviously doesn't do that much in single target. AoE. So ideally I would probably get the Hate's Legs, but I haven't actually crafted those because I can still get like priority upgrades for raid, which is why I don't run them yet. But once I do get them, you know, I will probably equip them. As always, let's just have a chat about the different tips and whatnot we can do utilize in Dark Heart Thicket, talk about my cooling usage, that kind of vibe. That's what this video will be for. I can start off by talking a bit about this Festal Grizzly. So it's pretty good because AMS can actually immune the roar it does. So you can see up there, I got debuff now with 2 stacks. And the thing is, every time it roars, it deals more and more damage. But AMS immunes that and allows you to reset stacks, which is really powerful. Especially if you do go for the double pull, you can do double get bears, right? You would 100% want to leverage AMS to make sure you don't stack up those debuffs very quickly. All right, we got these pack of 3. I did I have my, yeah, I have cooldowns up there, I think. You can see I'm kind of blasting here. I'm running with a druid and a warrior. That will make me look a bit better than usual because they're not very meta classes. If you run with like Demon Hunter, they will do more damage, so which would lower my damage. But in this scenario, I end up almost at 300k overall, because the other guys are not doing that much. All right, kill this guy. I do have pillar here, but I'm going to save that, obviously. Like just a couple seconds there on a single target. It's not worthwhile to use a pillar. Not sure if I talked about this before, but I've changed my gameplay a little bit. So a couple things which are new-ish. When it comes to using my pillar windows, right? What I do nowadays is that as soon as I get my double killing machine, that's when I pop down definitely K. And that ends up being better. Like, it feels better because you don't end up with this scenario where you want to wait 2 GCDs and you kind of already got double killing machine. So do you want to consume 1 and go into your definite K with 1 stack? Or do you want to, you know, press something else and maybe potentially overcap on stacks? It's just not a good scenario. So as soon as I get double killing machine, I pop by my definite K. This means that sometimes my definite K will be a bit early in my pillar window. And what that means is that your final oblit might not be a cleave oblit. That is fine though, because you can then spend that GCD, generate another killing machine, preparing for your secondary definite K window. I talked about this before, right? Quite often you will have double definite K in a kind of pillar burst window. What you want to do is you pop down the first one in pillar and then the second one immediately after pillar. You'd be surprised how hard your blitz will hit just after pillar, because you have both unleashed strength going. You have frost whelps going for a couple more seconds. Like, loads of buffs are still there, which means that you have almost as much strength as in your pillar. So, you know, if you bank up double killing machine, pop down definite K and do double killing machine or blitz there, it's going to be hitting really hard as well. So if you're doing an early definite K, right, that's generally a good idea when you know you have a second definite K, so you can spend the final GCD stacking up an extra killing machine, so you can pop down second definite K and can go from there. It's a very like minor min-max thing, but you know, that's how I started playing it. It feels good, right? I did look at it in simulations and it was kind of same, so might be some other effects going into play there. But anyway, second thing, on single target, I realized I've been playing a bit incorrectly for a while. So I was being really greedy with my killing machine procs, even if I had just a single killing machine. I would prioritize other things because I knew, right, I would go in my pillar window, have a single kill machine. I get a rank proc, I would go to 2 killing machines. That is not, that's incorrect to play, right? What you want to do always is prioritize consuming killing machines, even if you have single stacks in your pillar windows. Really important. Outside of pillar, you can be more greedy, but inside, you can't. And I feel playing with that, it actually feels a bit better. I'm probably just, it's probably just confirmation bias, but that's how it is. Anyway, for this boss here, what can we do? Well, you can grip in the ads, you can leverage Deafening K, and you can cleave them down. That's like what we can do. You can see I will try to do that here, so I grip that guy in. I think he had a vortex down, so he didn't. Yeah, there we go. The vortex meant that I couldn't actually grip in him, because he would have been obliterated there. You know, obliterate his 3 targets. You can really do some serious damage to those ads. Other than that, you know, not that much else going on there. Just don't stand in front of the boss, as always. When it jumps away, don't stand where it's going to end up. So always have some distance. That leap, it deals damage in a small AoE when it comes back again. So just need to make sure we watch out for that. I have a pillar up here as well. I will probably send it. Yeah, there we go. Even though the boss is at 10%, I know that if I send pillar now, it's going to take a couple seconds to kill the boss. We're going to move on to the next pack. And I'm going to have my pillar up for that pack anyway. And I get full value, you can see here. So full pillar value. It was the right call to use it. Try to be greedy with your pillars, right? The cooldown is so short, so. Alright, we're going to move on to the blossoms and the dryads and all that kind of thing. Not much to do here except leveraging our death grip for the dryad. It jumps away, right? So death grip it to get it back and cleave it down. Other than that, you use Blinding Sleep to stop that root burst, but like, it's pretty low value. If you stop it, you're just going to instantly cast it again, so it's kind of like whatever. Alright, you can see I did get my pillar up. It was a bit late in this pack, but I will still use it. Unfortunately, we have the tank dragging out the ads from my Deafening K, but that's also kind of expected, so I'll make sure that no. I think the red player there, I did have double killing machine, so I would have popped down my Deafening K and then consumed those, but I didn't, which was slightly odd. I don't know. I probably wasn't paying enough attention. Right, we can see there, Dryad running away. We grip it back in. Easy peasy. All right, we've got another pillar. All right, tank seems to be moving them, so I'm kind of holding it for a couple, 2 or 3 seconds to make sure it stops, and then I go ham. You can see I get remorses up, middle pillar. Regardless of situation, you want to press that build, even in single target. It just deals so much damage over time that holding onto it generally means you get a single target loss. You just get a DPS loss, sorry. Putting more trash, this is kind of like, this just takes ages to kill because the blossoms all healed due to the keepers, so that's why we prioritize or try and hit the keepers. Got my cooldown stack up. I'm going to send those. You see those double killing machine, Deafening K, and then go into cleave. Grip that back in, and so on. A couple other things I've been doing lately. Obviously, I talked about this in a lot of my videos, is that, at start of the pool, try and prioritize stacking up Unleash Frenzy. It's a buff you get for spending or dealing damage with your runing power. So in a given AoE pool, I will always try and use Glacial Advance as much as possible at start, prioritizing that over Rhyme. And that's also going to happen on a single target, because on single target we have 2 effects, right? We stack up Unleash Frenzy, but we also want to stack up Razorize. This means that in the first pillar, like go in, you want to essentially be using 5 Glacial Advances in a row-ish. I will show you, I probably will do it on a fighter, because, you will at least do 3, right? You stack up your Razorize, you also stack up your Unleash Frenzy, so you get like double value from that. Alright, we have some movement here with the ads, so I'm just going to make sure I'm sending down my second Deafening K a bit earlier than usual. It's just something I have to deal with, but the fact that we have double Deafening K means we are pretty flexible, so even though the tank moves, you can just pop down your second one, and then you continue your burst window there. As said before, our DPS in secondary Deafening Ks outside of pillar is still pretty good, especially if you manage to bank up those killing machine procs there. Alright, my stuff up here. You can see here I use macros. I will 100% recommend doing that as well. Previously I've been kind of like a bit whatever. It is, but it is quite a big increase. It's a couple % using these macros versus just tapping the abilities. So it is definitely worthwhile to use them. So you can see I have I didn't set them up, so I will have 4 of them here. In general, you have one with Howling Blast, one with Frost Strike, one with Glacial Advance, and one with Obliterate. And I used the one that makes sense for the situation. In a way, it's pretty much always going to be Glacial Advance or Howling Blast, and then the single targets is Howling Blast, Frost Strike, or Obliterate. The Obliterate is used if you already have a Killing Machine proc. Then you want to essentially hit Pillar and consume the Killing Machine ASAP. That's why I have that specific macro. Alright, moving on to these Nightmare Dwellers. You can leverage your kit here, so obviously they will fear you. Lichborn will break that fear, so good use of that ability. Furthermore, you can use AMS. So if they're channeling on you, you can AMS it, and it will immune the fear if it was supposed to be applied to you. You can see here a good example of my AoE rotation. I prioritize Glacial Advance there at the start. I talked about that before. Stack up those 3 Unleashed Frenzy, and then you can go into hitting rhymes. That's the that is the way. Alright, gonna try and interrupt these. You see I get the fair. I think I actually got, I'm not sure why that was broken immediately, but I did use the Lichborn as well. It looked to me like it broke just before. Anyway, deal with those. Easy peasy, onto the next boss. Now this guy here has a knockback which deals magic damage, so great opportunity to both use Death's Advance and AMS, and that's kind of like where you want to use it because it can get a bit scary, especially on a bit higher keys. Won't be that scary in this one, but other keys it would definitely be. So I'm not terribly good at keeping track of that, but you know. Alright, now we can see, let's see. Am I using, yeah, okay. I'm not always super consistent with my gameplay, so this using Glacial Advance at the start is something I haven't been doing that much, but I think it is to play. So in that first pillar, you want to hit those, you want to hit triple Glacial Advance as a priority, and then you can go into using Rhyme procs. And use Glacial Advance whenever you're away from boss. So if you can't hit him with your normal abilities, use Glacial Advance to get that range, or use it when you can stack up Razor Ice. So at the start of the pool, I talked about that. You will prioritize Glacial Advance over Frost Strike when the boss doesn't have 5 stacks of Razor Ice. Right. Anyway, we also want to leverage our Definite cleave here. Obviously, we're going to spawn some of these saplings. Great opportunity to pop down Definite K, especially in your obliteration windows, and deal some heavy cleave damage there. We have the rest of the guys that are kind of dealing with roots, standing in them. I think you can do either. I'm not sure what do people do at very high keys, but on this level, you can just let them spawn, as you here, and then just destroy them. It's especially nice when the tank gets picked up, because then he acts... Oh, there we go. Alright. I went a bit too much ham. So I got aggro. He did his knockback. I didn't use AMS. I could have. So that was just a pure mistake from my side. Could have done loads of things there to deal with that better. Oh well. We'll just get back into it. Fortunately, when you get rest like this, like I don't have any runes at all. It's just really slow. I don't know. That was a weird scenario. So if you saw that, I entered my pillar. God, this is a... Oh God, what's going on? Anyway, I had pillar ready. I didn't have rune power. So what I had to do was using a naked Howling Blast to actually initiate that first killing machine. It doesn't happen very often, but you can end up in scenarios where you don't properly bank enough rune power, or you don't have a rhyme proc where you actually do need to use that naked Howling Blast. And we do use it in the opener, right? That's a good example of when we actually do trigger it that way. Alright, let's orient ourselves. We got these slimes. They're going to do heavy AoE damage when they die, so we're just going to make sure we pop some defensive. We can do Lichborn, we can use AMS, we can use IBF, right? Anything will work, and we'll have no problem actually surviving those. Tiny mistake from me there. You can see I used my chill streak after my pillar. If you have both of them ready, obviously you want to chill streak before pillar. I definitely overkilled those defensives because I popped both Icebound Fortitude and AMS. One of them is fine. Other than that, we can't do that much deal with this ad. We're just going to have to kill it. The small A's are dangerous. They will cast Blood Bolt, which heals them up. And they will cast this meta thing, right? Which essentially transforms them into fresh Blood-Tainted Fury. It's not the exact same thing, because it doesn't actually spawn the small A's afterwards, but it's pretty much the same. So I'm just going to make sure I have some good damage to put into these small guys so we can kill them. There we go. Easy peasy. And you can see I did 740k DPS on those ones. Just prioritizing. Some good Unleash Frenzy upkeep there. Something you want to look and try and do is when you run it between packs, especially when you're a bit far away from the next one, you can do Glacial Advance before you reach it to maintain Unleash Frenzy. You have to deal damage, unfortunately, so you can't just press it and be happy with it like you can do with Icy Talons. So you're just going to have to deal with it. But, you know, several times in a key, I will do that where I don't have range to Frost Strike. I will Glacial Advance before I reach the pack to maintain my Unleashed Frenzy. Alright, we can see these non-DK players having issues surviving, you know. You won't die from this. I'm also, as you can see at the start of the video, I was running the defensive setup, which I like to run. You don't technically need to do it, but, you know, the number of times that saves me is quite high. I did look at a key like last season where I was saved like 5 times. But that was also 5 times which I failed, you know. So I could just have played better. But, you know, I quite like it. This is going to die. I'm actually saving my pillar for it, so I can actually do some proper cleave here. Pop on 11k, and then we're just going ham on these. And it's like, you know, triple 300k ones. Nice. People ask me how I deal so much damage with my Obliterates. It's all about like gear. As long as you do the same rotation as me, where you set up, you know, you use a pillar, you fill in your GCDs properly, you're going to hit that. But I have almost 486 eye level, so you can't expect to hit that hard if you're down at like 470 or 460, something like that. It makes a huge difference, those final points. Your DPS definitely doesn't scale linearly with your item level. This guy, he does knockback. You can use Death's Advance to avoid it, which is pretty nice. I tend to try and not, you know, use it for everyone. If you stay close to the boss, he doesn't knock you back that quickly, so no problem there. But definitely a good thing to use the Death's Advance one. Now, for AMS usage, you definitely want to use it for the roll. That deals a ton of damage, especially on high tyrannical. That's pretty much going to one-shot you unless you have a defensive. So you do want to commit your anti-magic shells for it. Alright. You can see that. Use Death's Advance and then you're just chilling. Good example here of a bit, you know, unfortunate timing. I had both Morse's Winter and Chillstreak coming out during pillar, but you do want to still use them, press them on cooldown. Very important. I haven't talked about this before, but, you know, Frost versus Unholy, people always ask me what's better. My current vibe is still Frost. Unholy does better in big AoE. Like, big pools, Unholy is just going to deal insane damage. However, Frost does like significantly better than Unholy on single target, especially if you're doing higher keys where the bosses last like 3 minutes. Unholy is just really bad in that scenario with the Myth+ build versus Frost. That loses like 6% compared to our BsPA like single starter setup. It's just much more solid in those single target scenario. You know, this is non-losted. I end at like 160k almost, which is pretty good, you know. Unholy would have been 20, 30k DPS lower, depending exactly on the the breath there. Yeah. So I think for high key pushing, Frost is the play. We also deal really good damage and low target counts, so yeah, it's just better. It is just better, I think. To be honest, when you get the legendary Frost or Frosty case, just can't really spread it. The only way we can spread it consistently in AoE is by using Frost Scythe, and we don't want to use Frost Scythe. So I don't know. Obviously don't have the legendary yet. You know, maybe next week. Who knows? So we'll see. Because on whole, it's much better with the scythe when it comes to actually spreading that dot. Because Skirt Strike in Deafening K spreads it, so you immediately get like a target spread. Versus Frosty K, which literally doesn't even spread it with the AoE from the Oblits, right? It just goes on a single target each time, and then it picks a new one. So you have to, like, in 3 Obliterates, you get 3 target with dots. It's just really bad. To be honest, though, it's not like Unholy needs that AoE damage. It's not like it's going to help it much with the single target deficit. So, who knows? I'm just a bit annoyed. Devs, if you're watching this, please fix it so that we can actually spread the dots reliably with the Frosty K. At least make it, like, you know, spread off all the hits of Obliterate. That would be kind of like fine. All right. So I'm just setting my cooldowns here on CD. Something you can tell quite quickly if you ever look at any of my logs or whatever is that I will just be very greedy with how I use my cooldowns, and it's going to be really helpful. If you find yourself not doing that much damage, it's probably because you aren't actually pressing cooldowns as soon as they come up, right? Something that's good to focus on. All right, we've got the final pack here before the boss. We're going to go in as normal, double Killer Machine, Deafening K, and then we're just going to go ham. So, mistake there, I actually did use... Oh god. Nearly died there, so I propped my list one. I used the Rhyme Proc instead of Glacial Advance. You know, I'm not playing perfectly, so sometimes I will actually mess that up. That said, the correct play is to use Glacial Advance to stack up your Unleashed Frenzy. Alright, when this bed dead, we're going to go on to the final boss. There are some specific tips we can do here. You could previously, I've tried this recently and it doesn't work anymore. Both Nightmare Bolt and the what's it called? The one that pairs you if you get close to one. Both of those could be immune by AMS by pre-using it, but that doesn't work anymore. However, we can still, it's called Paranoia, right? You can still deal with Paranoia by using AMS. So how it works is that with Paranoia, if you run into someone, you would obviously get feared and take some damage. However, that's a magical thing, so you can both use Lichborn to immune that, or you can pre-AMS. So if you pre-AMS, run into someone with Paranoia, that's gonna then remove the Paranoia without fearing you, right? I'm 99% sure that works because I think I did it. Not in this pool, but another. Other than that, you can just safely use AMS before when he reaches 50% and deals a big nuke. Or if you get targeted by Nightmare Bolt, that does do quite a lot of damage, or feed on the weak. Lots and lots of like opportunities to leverage some good AMS there. There we go. Man, it feels horrible when you're Deafening K or in your pillar window and you have to start using stuff like Chill Streak and Morse's Winter. Yeah, it's a shame that's better because it just feels bad, especially when you start to starve because of it. So, all right, we're just you know, deal with this one. You can see I'm at 165k without really using any of my major cooldowns. That's the thing with Frosty K, like our damage profile is so incredibly flat in single target, so you can kind of just you do good damage regardless what happens. All right. We have popped our Bloodlust. You can see I get growing Paranoia. Let's see if that triggers. There we go. I get fed, use Lichborn, and then it goes away. And I could have also pre-used AMS. We have someone dying, so we're going to rest that guy. You can see me sometimes. I will actually initiate my single target pillars using Glacial Advance. That's just me fat fingering. I have Frost Strike and Glacial Advance macros next to each other. So anyway, gonna end this run close to 300k, which I'm quite happy about. I said before, it would have been lower if the other guys had done a bit more damage, but we timed this comfortably. I'm happy. There you go. Anyway, I hope you appreciated this video, that you liked it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about it. Upvote, downvote, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.